I walked over to her and I said, "Hey, you're out of surgery. Are you okay?" And she opened her eyes and she looked at me and she said, the first thing she said, do you remember? She said, "Is baby okay?" I was like, "They don't know yet. We'll find out later."
So about 9 years ago, after we've been married for a couple of years, we wanted to start a family. And so made an appointment with my OBGYN. At that appointment, she tells me, before you start thinking about that, go and get your heart checked with the cardiologist because you have a heart murmur. They did their usual tests, the stress test, the echo and all that. Probably a week or so later, he sits down with us and goes, "Well, you will need surgery. If you don't get it and you have children, it'll be very risky."
Here I am, with all I have, raise my hands to worship you. I wanna say,
Like, well, let's start, scheduling the surgery. But towards around October, we haven't scheduled yet. We have been having a hard time scheduling it. So come October, I find out I'm pregnant.
I was at work that day, so when she texted me, she said something happened today. I assumed she lost her job. On my way home, I finally got a text message back, and it was a picture of a pregnancy test. Finally got home, and I was like, "Where is it? What's going on?" And it's in the bathroom. It's in the bathroom. And just to stare at it and just process, now what?
So now we're calling our cardiologist.
They didn't have any medical history of a woman being pregnant needing 2 heart valve replacements. Doctors were saying that despite what your moral obligations or your convictions are, that the medical evidence completely outweighs that at this particular point, and they recommended termination of pregnancy. I came home from work and we sat down. Like, we gotta make a decision whether we're gonna terminate this baby or not.
We talked about it, and I was like, I think he said, "Well, there's only one of you. You can always have another child."
We wrestled with it for a while.
I remember just sitting in the room yelling at God, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me?" I locked the doors and I just cried.
And so I started getting in contact with the surgeon in California at this point, more out of frustration than anything else. Of, hey, we got to do an abortion. What's the soonest following this procedure that we could get a heart surgery done? We were ready to go into the hospital to do the abortion. I got a call from the doctor, and he said, "Hey, you guys are already looking at terminating this baby. Why don't you come on up here, give us a shot?" And he said that there was a 25% chance that the baby would survive. And he said, "It's better than what you're giving it now. Why don't you give it a shot and get up here as quickly as you can?" So we canceled the termination of the baby 24 hours before it was supposed to happen. And God intervened. It was kind of, for me, that was the moment of taking me back to like Abraham and Isaac, where he was being faithful to God and his obedience, and he's ready to sacrifice his son, and God intervened. God intervened.
After we got that call, probably 2 weeks, a week and a half, we were already there.
His name was Dr. Von Starnes. We had no knowledge of him. We walked into his office, and all of a sudden it became very apparent that this guy was world-renowned. He had pictures of himself up in his office on the covers of Time magazine. I think within 2 days, they had you on the operating table. They explained the procedure. We got to put you on life support. We got to stop your heart. we're gonna have to remove the old valves, put new ones on. Surgery came. It was like a 6-hour period. A lot of emails going back and forth from myself to her family, my family, our prayer intercessors, and the doctor came out and said everything went great. It was perfect. And I walked over to her and I said, "Hey, you're out of surgery. Are you okay?" And she opened her eyes and she looked at me and she said, the first thing she said, do you remember? She said, "Is baby okay?" I was like, "They don't know yet. We'll find out later."
Even before we even got the surgery schedule, he goes, "If we go through this and she survives, she's going to be something special." For me, it was all about just trusting God and knowing that He's real. God was just like, "Trust me. Trust me." It was hard. It was really hard to go, "Okay, this is Sophia."
She is our firstborn, the one that was put through a ringer.
She's our little miracle.
You might not always see God at work immediately, and a lot of it is getting you to that point. It's a process, and to be patient, to really wait on God. What I mean by that is have your quiet time, listen to worship music, pray, read your Bible. God speaks in all these forms, and you just have to learn to listen and how to hear it. Even if you don't hear it in those times, but when you reflect back to it, there's no denying that God was at work.